These folks in the commercial world, they absolutely hate when they get looped in as self-storage because it's not self-storage, it's a different use
Mm.
case. So, as a lot of you folks know, SteelBlue launched a commercial door line. Since we launched this new part of the business, we decided that what would be best for that launch is to actually have a whole sub brand as well. When there is anything involved with branding or design of that nature, that's going to be where Chloe comes in. And so I don't know if you all have met Chloe before, but Chloe is actually our creative director, and she's done some incredible work for us. If you've gone anywhere on the website, if you've seen any asset that she's ever made that you can click download now, she's made that. If you've seen any email asset, if you've seen all of our YouTube, she's literally done it all. She's absolutely incredible. And before we get started talking about what we're going to talk about today was actually how we built this brand, this sub brand. Chloe, if you could just introduce yourself and yeah, who is Chloe?
Who is Chloe? Yes, I am Chloe Grote. I'm a visual brand designer, industrial design background, but I've been at Steel Blue for what, like over a year and a half now, or something like that, around that. As the creative director, brand visual designer position. So I've been doing that. But yeah, who am I? I grew up in the Midwest, in Iowa, in a small town. Not too small, but small enough. And I went to college at Iowa State University for industrial design, which was super fun. Go Cyclones. And then, yeah, from there, just ended up kind of moving around in the Midwest and eventually made my way out to the Pacific Northwest in Washington, and now I'm in Oregon. So, yeah, but that's a little bit about me, but I don't know if it's who I am, but it's my background. So,
Yeah, and so for folks that don't know, Chloe and I have worked together for years at this point. We worked together in our past roles at Trig, and now we work together at Steel Blue, and we have a lot of fun. And so, in light of having a lot of fun, I feel like building this commercial brand was particularly fun. And so, to give people some background, I think Chloe came up with a bunch of different brand logo designs, various color schemes, and we ended up presenting it. She ended up presenting it to company leadership, where they helped her dial it into the one that everyone actually sees today. And when I think of design, as somebody who's just a marketer, I write copy, I do the mechanics of marketing. To me, and probably to a lot of people, I feel like design, especially good design, is like magic. It's like, how did you do that? Like, how do you even think of some of these cool designs that you've done? And so I guess knowing where we've ended up with the current design language that you built, what are some of that thought process that goes into building out a sub brand from Steel Blue and all the different avenues you went down before getting to where you landed on?
good question, because it is a bit of a like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
In a sense, I remember when you first brought it up to me of, hey, so they're thinking that it would be great if we could get a new logo for this side of the business. And I'm like, wait, what? What do you mean? But of course, I'm like, okay, yeah, a challenge, sure, let's do it. Let's come up with something. But I had no idea at that point of what that would look like. It was very much a question mark in my brain of, okay, so it's the same thing, but it's not the same thing. We're doing something different, and we're continuing with the same values that we have, but we're adding on to it. So I guess a big part of the process was, how do I keep this, or how do I make it so that this still seems like it's part of the Steel Blue family while being its own thing. So that was like the main challenge, but also it was the glue of what brought everything together, and it got even more with our actual brand of, oh wait, that is how people recognize us. They recognize us for our font typeface and for our traditional like blue star and our blue color, the steel blue. That's what they recognize us for. So how can we incorporate that into the logo was a big thing, and then also how does it like continue to grow with the brand was also something. So something that we don't have to change, like our current logo, like it's pretty stable, people know us for it. So how do we also do that for this one, where the commercial side of the business can also just grow with this logo as well? I think that was mainly the main thought process of where it generated from.
How many iterations of the logos did you actually do? Because I remember seeing your raw file when you were constructing it, and I was like, is this 100 different logos that you built, and then you narrowed it down to three that you liked, which eventually now is the one that we ended up moving forward with?
Yeah, it's kind of like mining. It's kind of, or when you're out looking at rocks on the beach or something, It's the best. You find some and you're like, oh, maybe that one, maybe that. And then like there's just some that work and some that don't. But I would say my Illustrator file was, I was scared to show it to you. I think the one time I showed it to you
Yeah.
because of how just it always begins. My process is always a bit of very much a lot of freedom. And you can see it. There's a lot of just freedom thinking, not trying to be too structured. And then you kind of I pull it along in a timeline where it starts to get more streamlined, more like
Hmm.
put together, more like, oh, okay, this is what actually works. This is, oh, these could actually potentially be good options and everything. So it's very much a narrowing down process. And
Hmm.
I don't know the total number of how many, because there's a lot of ugly ones in there, but a lot
It's
that didn't
funny.
quite make sense. There's always going to be so much that doesn't make sense. And that's what you have to weed through. I was like, what I was saying earlier about, I don't know. Okay, I don't know what that looks like, but I guess we'll figure out what it looks like. So,
The creation process, it's a very private thing for a while and hard to want to share what you've been working on because at the end of the day, as an artist, or a creative director like you, this is an extension of yourself, willed this into being. And so for somebody to see the versions you didn't like it's like, like
it
that's
is
not the
part of it
version I
though.
want you to see.
Yeah. It's a part of it. And I don't mind
Yeah.
showing it. I like showing it midway through.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's when I show it to you. I never show the first. I'll show you the mess with the midway through. That makes me feel better. But yeah, it's, yeah. Any artist goes through that. There's always just going to be so many iterations, so many trial runs and everything. So yeah.
Well, Chloe, can you share us some of what this commercial brand actually entails?
Okay, so here is the current commercial branding, logo, word mark. Very quickly, I might add, when we presented this, it seemed like it was a pretty easy choice. It seemed like.
It felt right. It felt right because it's got the
Like,
star, and I don't know if that's exactly what to call the shape, but I call it in my mind the steel blue star that people notice from our other logo, the main logo,
yeah,
and the typeface. It just feels right. Just felt right
yeah,
for some reason.
yeah. We'll go through version one concepts. I thought we were maybe gonna have to do a version two, but after one presentation, it seemed like the team was pretty set on one logo, apparently. So
Mhm.
it's version one of the logos. Here we have the winner. That was presented as concept one. It has this circular shape that it brings in this idea of we're continuing who we are, we're bringing in new items, new products, new ideas. And then it's also divided up into quadrants there with our steel blue trust star. And that kind of, it in a symbolic way, it splits it into a shield and represents some strength and resilience. But yes, overall, just a very symmetrical logo here. Really ties in with our current word mark very well. Concept number two. Here we have one that really relies heavily on the steel blue star, I would say. It's not as much of a circular motion, rather it's like a square structure, like meaning strength and again reliability, and also has this like upward forward motion to it as though we're taking off from where we are. We're gonna do even more than what we're doing in the industry, in the business. That was the idea behind that one. And we have concept number three here. This one also brings in that circle for continued evolution, continued progress, but creates a bit of a shadow effect, a Venn diagram of we share this goal, as in this part of the business has a shared goal with our parent business, Steel Blue, and it's coming out from that. And then incorporating the Steel Blue Trust Star again to really bring it back to our core brand. So
Yeah, I
I would
really like
say,
this.
yeah, this was a good one too. I feel like we were between this one
Hmm.
and number one. Pretty close. And I think it was about to be this one
It was. It
at
was
one
close.
point. And then I explained the first one a little bit more. So I went into that and like how it's really good from a branding perspective. But
Yeah, and this one I thought it was really nice because number one, it makes you feel like reminiscent of a brand like MasterCard, like a brand that's been around for a long time. So
yeah,
there's a trust factor from that design. But then also the circles that were split up by the star, it looks like two C's in a way. It's like an inverse C as well for the commercial brand. So I
yeah,
liked the way that it still looked like commercial even that way as well, outside
yeah.
of the maybe underlying meaning that you had intended for it.
There's something too about it of like this one looks very familiar, but does it look super familiar in a way that it's
Yeah.
steel blue? Like a
Mm.
lot of things. That's what was brought up in the meeting, I remember. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Pac-Man. Oh, MasterCard. Oh, but
Hmm.
with the first one, it was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You can just tie it with us. It can become our thing rather than, oh, it's making me think of this. It's making me think of that. Those were the three that were presented to the leadership team, and it seemed like an easy choice. They made it really easy as to what they wanted. We just
Hmm.
went with the first one, and then I started building out the brand guide for that and creating all the different logos. And still after this, I was still tweaking the text a little bit. So you might notice, maybe not. It's very minor changes I made to the text after this presentation of just making sure things were more legible as they got smaller or bigger. Just started building it out and creating a bit more of a system around it and putting it on materials that we needed for the commercial side. So to help promote it a bit more.
So good. So good. Yeah. And I think a question comes down to why did you guys even need this? Why couldn't it just be steel blue? But Steel Blue, the vision for Steel Blue is for us to have so many of these subsidiaries underneath us that it makes it easier from a marketing perspective for us to have sub brands for some of the different offerings.
Yeah,
Steel Blue Commercial being the first foray into that. And
definitely. We're not going to be focused around self-storage with these stores. It's more industrial, more like the larger buildings, new construction, everything. So, yeah, our steel blue core brand is definitely focused around self-storage when all of our materials really like goes with copy as well. So how can we brand that copy differently and everything? So,
And yeah, and when it comes to the commercial customers, an insight that we've got from our leader of that department, Bray Allen, is that these folks in the commercial world, they absolutely hate when they get looped in as self-storage because it's not self-storage, it's a different use case. And
mm-hmm.
so in their eyes, they feel like they are kind of being second fiddle when they're
Right.
not second fiddle, it's their own world. And I think that was also a part of it where it was we were going to be sending this whole different ICP to our actual website and they're going to go, what the heck? Self-storage, but that's why Steel Blue Commercial now exists. It's tailored to that audience, which is great.
Right. And there won't be as many questions when they land upon it. Like it's more of a straightforward, here it is. They don't have to be like, wait, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Yeah. Especially since it is just a complete different, it's totally different. New partners and everything. So
It's
hopefully
been
they
well
have met.
received too. It's been well
Yeah.
received by the current customer base that we have. I think it was the right choice from a leadership perspective.
Oh, yes. Here I have it pictured with just the icon, the brand mark here, which goes very well by itself. This is mainly, a lot of times it will be paired with the word, but I think it is very apparent that it's recognizable here. And a lot of times this can be used on merch and everything and without text on it and it's recognizable, you know who it is. Or on a pamphlet of sorts, handouts and everything. It's just a staple and it works by itself. That's kind of what we wanted out of this. We wanted it to work by itself and to also just be timeless where we don't have to continue updating it or making changes and everything. Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up with this is
Yeah.
it's a very minor change, but I did the colors for this brand are the same as our steel blue color palette and everything, except for the addition of the light blue. And that would mainly be used just for social media or mostly digital use of a differentiator between our actual brand and this brand to kind of make it just stand out a little bit more. Because you can easily just scroll by probably one of our posts and just think, oh, steel blue, oh, steel blue. But if we include maybe a light blue accent color in there every so often, and see what it looks like, we might stand out a little bit more. That's not to be used heavily, be used very carefully, and I think it's just in a marketing, you and me, Jared, sense we'll use that color and we'll see
Yep.
what it gains and everything. But that was added. Otherwise, it really sticks to the steel blue color palette. And here we have it a little bit more, showing it on some different colors with our word mark steel blue under it, a little bit more in context. We could have a billboard if we really want it. Get rolling today.
We may have to. We may have to get one in Vegas. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh,
And
so
then just
good.
some examples of social posts and everything we could do. Yeah. So that's kind of the gist of the brand and where it came from, the logo.
And I think for us, we just kind of wanted to show a little bit of how the sausage is made. This stuff just doesn't come out of nowhere. It takes months of
No.
planning and design and back and forth and decisions of people at all different parts of the organization. And I think one thing that you did really well with, though, is that I think in the past when we've done design projects together, when you get a lot of cooks in the kitchen, it can get a little bit discombobulated. Things can get off track. And I think your approach with this of being like, here's our options, pick
Yeah.
one and we'll move forward with that. And I feel like that made it really easy for everybody to just make a decision on what the best path forward is. So I think you did such a good job with that.
Thank you, Jared. Yeah, that was definitely, it took a lot to narrow it down, I will say. I remember I think I had five options at first, and I was like, wait, I don't even like two of these. So, like, I'm just doing it because I, fear that maybe they're going to be like, is there more? And I'm like, no, because these were the best. So, the three I had at the top and move with those. Yeah, definitely tried to make that as streamlined as possible so that I didn't have to do multiple iterations. Also, too, I just listened to, I listened to like what you had said about what they wanted this to be, and also what Bray had said what he wanted this to be, and really took that and tried to make something out of it rather than just going based off of what's needed. That's also what made that really easy. A really easy choice is just going based off of the information that was provided.
I think the interesting part that you mentioned there too is that you had five versions, you kept three. There's two that you didn't like that you didn't want to use. And I think the funny part about some of that is in past creative ventures, sometimes the throwaway thing is the thing everyone likes. And you're like, what the heck? Well, how was that
Yeah.
everyone's freaking favorite? I just threw that in there as like a sort of a filler option, and now that's the one we're going with. What the
Yeah.
heck? So good thing you moved forward with the ones you actually wanted and didn't let everybody, pick from the extended list, because I think that could also happen as well.
Yeah, and there was a whole thing behind that of like I just wanted to pick the ones that worked best with our current brand, and it didn't like mess with that too much. I'm glad I stuck with the three I did, and then we ended up choosing my secret favorite, which is another thing I was very unbiased about it.
You
Very
were.
unbiased.
You let everyone have their own feelings first about it. You let everyone
Yeah.
assess the situation.
And they assessed
Oh,
well. We all assessed
yeah.
well.
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah, I think everybody made the right choice. And so for anybody that is looking to purchase commercial doors from us, reach out to Bray Allen. He's in charge of that currently. And so, yeah, if you need the 1270 series, that's our standard up to 14 by 14. Like I said, that's a big door. I don't
It's
know
massive.
if, I know they get up to 18, 20, they get up as big as you need, but at the moment we're building 14 by 14. But that door, a 14 by 14 door is huge. So, yeah, for anybody that's out there in the market right now, reach out to Bray Allen. And yeah, like I said, Chloe, thank you so much for your work on this. You crushed it.